I realized it was just basically to tell me that I didn't know Erika, that Erika was lying at every single point in time, and that she never loved Charlie.
Candace Owens truly believes,
Yes.
based off your conversation with her,
Yes.
that Erika never loved Charlie, and it's based off what?
It's based off a delusion. When you have someone that's outside that is trying to outright destroy someone, they will take any tactic that they can if they believe that it serves their actual narrative and purpose.
In the summer, there were conversations of your daughter potentially like adding to her role and or doing more traveling. And you didn't even know if it was the campus events in general.
For months, people brushed off the questions around Erika Kirk's story, but now someone from her own circle is speaking, and it's changing everything. Because according to what's now coming out, her own best friend is exposing details that don't line up, from the pregnancy claims to the places she was really staying behind the scenes. And once those receipts started surfacing, the conversation shifted fast. Not just about what she said happened, but whether the entire story was carefully staged from the very beginning. The conversation around Erika Kirk didn't just come from the internet this time. According to what's circulating, someone from her own circle, described as a close friend, Tracy Martin, is now being linked to claims that are shifting how people are looking at everything. And that alone changes the tone, because when criticism comes from the outside, it's easy to dismiss. But when it starts coming from inside, people stop scrolling past it and start paying attention. Now, here's where things start getting uncomfortable, because according to what's being said, the claims aren't just about small inconsistencies, they're about something much bigger. Questions around Erika's pregnancy timeline, and even where she was actually staying during certain periods. And not officially proven, but enough detail is being shared that people are starting to look twice. And the part that really caught attention, the mention of hourly rentals. That detail didn't just raise eyebrows, it shifted the entire conversation. Because now people aren't just asking if things don't line up, they're asking why certain things would need to be staged at all. And once that question enters the chat, everything else starts getting re-examined, because this isn't happening in isolation. When people went back and looked at Erika's past, they noticed something that keeps repeating. Stories that sound solid at first, but then start to change once older footage, photos, or timelines resurface. Take the early image she built. Disciplined, private, untouched by the kind of lifestyle she later warned others about. That narrative held strong for a long time, until clips from earlier years started surfacing. Reality TV appearances, social settings, and a completely different energy. Not necessarily wrong on its own, but very different from what she later described. And that's where the first cracks showed.
How to be a biblical woman in society. I think it was Elizabeth Elliot that said, being a woman does not make me a better Christian or a certain Christian, but being a Christian makes me a very different woman. And I think understanding, yes, your biblical role, but also like, be the woman that your future husband deserves. Like, be the woman that, God wants you to be. You don't have to be out partying. Don't, be crazy thinking like I'm running out of time when your God is the author of time.
Then came the relationships. Public ones, documented, visible at the time. Names like JT Massey and Josh Geraldson resurfaced, along with photos and interviews that painted a very clear picture. But those same connections were later minimized or completely left out of her story. And once people saw that pattern, it became harder to ignore, because it suggested something bigger than just moving on from the past.
Back in 2013, Erika Kirk, or rather Erika Fronsky, because that's her maiden name, was dating a basketball player named Joshua Harrelson. Joshua Harrelson's Twitter handle is @BigGeorge55. That is a crazy Twitter handle. Anyways, how do I know this? How do I know that they dated? Well, despite Erika deleting all of her old posts and pictures and privating her old accounts, many people commented underneath her posts, and those comments underneath her posts are still visible on Twitter. For example, this tweet from November 11th, 2013, @ErikaFronsV @BigGeorge55. It's the best when it's like that. Everything is just practice until the one.
Now, bring it back to the present. Because when these new claims started circulating, people didn't treat them like random gossip. They placed them next to everything that had already come out. The shifting timelines, resurfaced footage, and the inconsistencies that never fully got addressed. Then there's the timeline around Charlie Kirk, because that part adds another layer. The the way Erika stepped into the spotlight quickly after his passing, the speed of public appearances, and the expansion of her presence. Some people saw strength, others saw something else, preparedness. And when you combine that with what's being said now about where she was staying, the use of different locations and setups that allegedly don't match the public story, it starts to create a different kind of narrative. Allegedly, but consistent enough that people keep asking questions. Because every time something new comes out, it doesn't feel disconnected. It feels like another piece of the same puzzle. It's even the internal shifts inside Turning Point USA get pulled into it. Reports of staff being removed, sudden changes, and voices disappearing quietly. Again, nothing confirmed as part of a larger plan, but enough movement to make people curious about what was happening behind the scenes.
USA did a massive purge of employees a few days ago, or at the end of, I guess, last week, you could say. What did you hear about that purge?
I heard there were 30 to 40 people purged, that they were looking for the leak. They knew there are leaks out of TPUSA. They are terrified of these leaks because of what TPUSA has been up to. And rather than try to be an honest organization, it's just, let's get rid of all the people we think might be disclosing that we're a dishonest organization.
It's just unbelievable.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
No, and I know you're going to keep saying I understand.
Yeah.
Like, I know that.
No, I know.
And I know there's probably no magic string of words that I could piece together to procure some type of answer. But yeah. I think on a surface level, like, I'm not going to walk out of here until I say my piece. Like, I mean, y'all know this. I just worked a series of 80, 90-hour weeks plus for AmFest.
Yeah, I think
I've had no direction or explanation since we've come back. Our CEO has been assassinated. I've done nothing but been backwards for this organization, to the point where I'm wondering if this is a prank.
It's not a prank. I would never do that.
So I'm just trying to understand. And
no, I understand. It's time to.
So do I get to have a conversation with Dylan? Do I get to have a conversation with Justin or anybody? Or
nope.
No, and there's no explanation as to why I'm gonna let go.
Right now, we're leaving all.
You know, and you're gonna keep saying a different direction, but I'm trying to understand how I've met multiple times with my.
We're going a different direction with the team, and I have to ask you to leave now.
You have to ask me to leave the property?
Yes.
Due to what, Frank?
Because we're asking you to leave because you've been terminated and we're not.
But there's no explanation or documentation for this. I've never had one bad review from Dylan. I've never had one issue with the company. I've never done anything unethical. And so I'm sitting here understanding why my entire livelihood is being completely tossed out. I mean, I sat in this chair.
You're gonna do great things.
No, and I plan to.
I don't think you're being tossed out. I think you're very successful.
Well, my paycheck every other week is being tossed out, Frank, with absolutely no warning whatsoever.
I understand. At this time, it's time for you to go.
It's time for me to go. Why? Like this is the treatment that Turning Point is offering now.
It's time to go.
Frank, this is crazy.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
I don't think you do. This feels very heartless. This feels without emotion.
I do understand where you're coming from.
This feels completely without emotion.
And that curiosity keeps growing because now the focus isn't just on one claim, it's on the pattern, the way stories evolve, details get adjusted. And when something like this comes from someone said to be close to the situation, it hits differently because it suggests access and proximity. One online user wrote, "Weird. When was the last time you told someone you were a dear friend of so-and-so?" That's what Tracy said. "I'm a dear from Erika's." "You are you?" Okay. Now, does that make it true or a coincidence? Maybe. But it makes people listen. And once people start listening, they start connecting. The past relationships, resurfaced clips, timeline questions, and current claims. Because if everything were straightforward, none of this would keep resurfacing the way it does and wouldn't keep pulling in new voices. And that's why people aren't looking at this the same way anymore. They're analyzing, comparing, and asking deeper questions. Not just about what's being said now, but about everything that came before it. Because if even part of this is accurate, then it changes how the entire story is viewed. And if it's not, then why does it keep coming back stronger each time? So now the real question becomes this: are these just claims being amplified because of timing? Or are they pointing to something people haven't fully understood yet? And if more voices from inside start speaking, what else could come out next? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep the convo going. Oh, and don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe for more stories straight from the hood.